So you're trying to create a photo wheel in which the wheel has wedges that will allow for pictures to be inserted into the wedges to create a template. It's also a part of a wide frame for a photo. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to make that, and hopefully it will be able to do this. I'll go ahead and take these photos here and I'll just drag it right in to the frame, to the new shape. So that's what we're going to do. The idea comes from, if you think about an orange, when you cut it in half, it has the wedges. The rind is the part that we're going to create, and then we're going to cut that from another circle. Let me show you what that'll look like. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new document here. And I'll just use this wide brochure size here. One page. And one. Good. There we go. And I'm going to first make a circle. So a perfect circle is going to be Shift and Alt at the same time and get it to about the size that you want ultimately. All right, so this will be our first circle. We're going to need to make like a couple copies of this when it's all said and done. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trick InDesign into thinking that this path of a circle is actually a shape. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and switch the fill to be solid and no stroke. And then I'm going to go ahead and make another circle. So go to your layers panel, find the circle that you just made, and I'm going to need you to duplicate it. And the quick way to do that is just drag it to the new layer button. Now that I have these two circles, I'm going to take the top one and holding Shift and Alt, I'm just going to make it slightly smaller. Okay, you're going to see what I'm doing here in a second here. I'm going to go ahead and make it a different color so you can actually see. I'm going to make it just this blue color. So you see how I took the top circle and I just made it slightly smaller. This is going to be our new shape on the outside. Okay. Now that I have this resized, I'm going to select both. And we're going to use Object. And we could use Pathfinder from here, but I would rather use the Pathfinder panel. Window, Object and Layout, Pathfinder. And it says I already have it open, so I'm just going to bring it over here. There we go. So you might remember this from Illustrator. Pathfinder, very useful. I'm going to go ahead and with both circles selected, I'm going to subtract the one on top. And so you now see that I've tricked InDesign into thinking this is now a shape. It's no longer a path. Okay, so this is like the rind or outside of the orange that I was talking about. We're going to make the little inside parts here in a second. Let's grab the rectangle tool for that. And we're just going to make a really thin rectangle. And you want the thickness of this rectangle to be what you want the spacing to be between your pictures. So I'm going to try to get it similar to the circle's width. And I'm also going to make that black by flipping the stroke color to the fill color. You can use this right here. So now it's filled in. Okay. So now I'm going to get these lined up, and the best way to do that, is to select both the rectangle and your new circle shape and use align. We're going to use this quite a bit, so get used to it and probably open up your align panel so you can get to it quicker. We're going to make sure we're aligning to the selected objects, not the art. Well, yeah, the page. I'm sorry. We are going to align to the page. And we're just using horizontal center and vertical center. All right, that should put them both in the middle. Let's adjust just the rectangle to be the diameter of the circle. So just kind of get it right on the edge there. Just bring that in so it kind of matches up as best you can. Okay, so I'm going to deselect so you can see what I did there. Now I'm going to go ahead and select that rectangle that we made, and I got to make another one. Okay, so the best way to do that is not to do it while or drag it or copy it or anything like that. I need it to stay where it is because I'm going to rotate the other copies into place. Check this out. I'm going to go to my layers panel, select that rectangle layer, and I'm just going to duplicate it. So let's just do one and now select it using the selection indicator here, this little square. Make sure it's the one on top. Now I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to go over here to my control panel, my options bar here, and I'm going to go to the rotate option. I want this to rotate, you probably guessed it already, 90 degrees. So I'm going to type that in and there you go. You might know what I'm doing here, so if you want to move ahead, that's fine, but I'm going to make another copy in the layers panel, select it, and from this position, we're doing 45 degrees. So you can either use the drop down or you could type it in. We're going to do a positive 45 degrees. And there you go. Then I'll make another one, another copy, select it. From this position, I need to go another 45. So I think I can go negative. Let's see. There you go. All right, so it's important that your thin rectangles overlap that shape, and it's important that these are shapes. Again, remembering Illustrator, we're doing something that you know probably learn to do in Illustrator first. You're able to blend or not blend, but unite shapes together. So now we're going to make this all one piece, like the orange rind. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and select everything, and then we're going to go up to Object. Just kidding. We're going to go to Window. We're going to go to, oh, we already have it open. I'm so sorry. Pathfinder. There it is. That's what I was looking for. And we're looking for the Unite option in Pathfinder. Okay. Again, Pathfinder was found under Object Layout, and then there's Pathfinder. We're looking for Unite. Now look carefully. Let me zoom in a little bit first so you can see this happen. All right. If you've never done this before, look at how there's a overlapping shape there, the little blue lines here and here and here. Watch all that disappear. I'm going to go ahead and hit Unite, and now it's all one piece, just like that orange rind. Okay, and then there's your wedges in there. Not done yet though. So your template, your photo wheel actually has a blank center. So using the same idea, let's take the ellipse tool and let's make a circle in the middle, Alt and Shift, and get it right in there. Before we take or subtract this, go ahead and fill it with a color. So I'm just going to switch this to black. No stroke. I'm going to select both. So everything is selected right now. Because this circle in the middle is on top, in Pathfinder, we're going to find minus front or subtract. So if you do that, it'll look like that. You know what? I think I jumped the gun here. Let's go ahead and reverse. So Control Z. Yeah, we're missing. Yeah, I did. Let's get rid of that circle in the middle. All right, so bring it back to just this, just your compound path. All right, we need to make another circle that this will be cut from. Yeah, we're at that point. Okay, so we need to cut away from another circle first. Let me show you that. All right, just making sure we're back to where we were before we put that smaller circle in. Look at your layers, look at my layers. Go ahead and grab the ellipse tool still, except this time the circle is going to be larger. Shift and Alt. We want to go all the way out to the edge, like that. Whoops, not like that. Let's try this again. I'll go a little bit slower this time. There we go. There we go. Just kind of get it to match up as best you can. I mean, if it's not perfect, then you could try it again, but get it as close as you possibly can. The key thing is that we are subtracting from this. We're going to take this orange rind kind of wedge shape that we just made, and we're going to subtract it from this circle that's in here. Okay. Now this circle, I would suggest you make it some solid color, so I'm going to actually do that right now. I'm going to make it something bright. I'll just go with this red right here. Okay, so we can see it. So now you see what I mean by the orange, approach to this. Like that's what I thought of when I, said we could do this. It's going to look like an orange, and we're just going to subtract the black from the red. Okay, you ready? Select both, and use subtract. Look at that. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right, let's take the circle tool again, and now we can cut out that middle part. So I'm just going to go in the middle, click and drag out to however big you want your picture wedges to be. You can go like that, and they're going to be thin, or you can bring it in like this, and they'll be a little bit wider. I'm going to go in maybe about that much. You'll probably have a better idea of how much you want to take away. Switch it so it's fill only again. Doesn't matter that it's black. All that matters is that we are now going to remove it or subtract it from this shape here. And subtract. There we go. So you get all the way to this point, and these are like individual shapes now. That's what you wanted. They're neatly aligned, and then you can now position this anywhere you want on the document. But the only problem is that InDesign doesn't recognize them as individual shapes. So that's what we're going to fix right now. Let me put it back in the middle. All right, now I'm just going to keep it selected and go to Object, Paths, and in order to release the compound path that this is and get it to be individual shapes, we're just going to hit Release Compound Path, and you now have individual wedges. These wedges, just like any shape in InDesign, are placeholders or can be placeholders. So now you're going to be able to take images and drop them into those wedges. And that's how you make a photo wheel. Okay. All right. Let me know if this helps. Play around with it. As far as getting the wide format part, it's the same, or wide frame for your photo that I gave you in the template. This one right here. As far as getting this, it's the same idea. This was a really wide rectangle, and I just took a circle and just used the Pathfinder to minus and subtract and create that gap right there. Okay, and then this shape becomes a frame, and you could put images in it. Okay. All right, that ends the demo. Hope this helps.